I was at a conference, an optometric conference, and I was introduced to a virtual reality type visual field tester. The optometrist who was doing the lecture said, "We've been using the Heru, it's great. The results are as good as a Humphrey in terms of standard type of tests." And he said it's great because it doesn't take much room. I looked up Heru, I was watching their videos, and it sounded great. So I went ahead and purchased it, but I didn't look at any other companies because the recommendation was with this company, and I was satisfied with the recommendation. So I went with that. That did not work well. I mean, when it worked okay, but it didn't always work. Everything about it was just a problem. Activity didn't always work. You have to face a different way. The patient has to look away from the other machines, and it was a hassle. We had a tech person here who was really in charge of doing that. So she was the one that was always on the phone with the company. There wasn't always somebody available. It ended up just sitting in our office and collecting dust. I was ready to bring up my old visual field tester from the basement. So there was a good article in Review of Optometry that reviewed a whole bunch of different companies' virtual reality visual fields. And so I was looking at the pros and cons of all of them. I wanted a company that was not just doing this, that had just not suddenly gotten on the bandwagon. I wanted a company that was making some other devices that were unique and had their foot in the door and wasn't just going to disappear tomorrow if it didn't work the way they wanted it to. And I wanted it from a company that looked like they actually knew what they were doing. After doing some research, I felt that my devices had what I was looking for. The support team has been amazing. Everybody, every time I call, I never have to wait for an answer from somebody. There's always somebody around, and they understand exactly what my issue is. Recently, I have had a few patients who have like a mild ptosis, or they're getting to the age where their lids are starting to droop. The surgeon wants me to run a visual field test to prove whether or not the ptosis is something that can be billed to insurance. Wasn't even sure how to do that test at the beginning, so I called and spoke to Maria, and she walked me through very simply. And so I've done a few of those already, and those are excellent. If it's a patient who's done visual fields previously, they're like, wow, I don't have to stick my head in that bowl again? Oh my God, this is so much better. Wow, Dr. Rappaport, you're so innovative. You know, you're really on top of things. So, of course, I love that feedback. It basically runs itself. Previously, I used to try to explain to them what was going to happen at the beginning. Instead, I just tell them, just listen, the directions are going to come from the sound, but I'm going to be right here at the very beginning. Just want to make sure they understand what they're going to be doing. And then I tell them, just keep staring at that central dot. Anytime you see any other lights, just hit the button. It seems to be great. It seems to be picking up what I wanted to pick up, showing me when there's a potential problem. Like with any visual field test, if you have a visual field that seems to be a little questionable, you know, have them come back in a month. But I have found that it's very consistent. I'm very satisfied with the machine, very satisfied with the support. It's everything that I had hoped it would be.